Hello, you beautiful people. Let's see. It isn't saying I am live yet, but it should be here any second. There we go. Get started with painting these lilies. I have a feeling I know at least one of the people in is. I literally just saw your text message as I was getting ready to start the live. So I hope you enjoy me painting. Touch up some of these. They're looking a little dull. Just give them that second coat. Also, if you are wondering what color I am using for the lilies, because I got a message of someone asking, I am. Where are you? So I can show you. I am using vermilion hue orange and opera rose. Why are you not? There we go. These are the two colors. What's helping the orange pop really well on this green is the opera rose, because it is technically a red and it is the opposite of green. So I'm using a little bit of color theory. Oh, sorry, it is not vermilion. Cadmium orange hue is what I am using. I grabbed the wrong one. Not even really paying attention. So cadmium orange hue and opera rose. That's what's helping it pop off of this green. Using a little bit of color theory. Since I don't have any blue, I also used phthalo green, which is a blue shifted green, just to kind of help these colors be opposite of each other. I do that a lot. It helps with the colors. Makes them pop a little bit better. Like if I'm gonna have a lot of yellows, I'll mix purple in with the blue that I use, just to kind of like help separate them more. Make them pop from each other. So like I'll take Windsor purple and mix it with Prussian blue when I use like a lemon yellow or cadmium yellow, just to kind of like make that yellow pop a little bit more. Not enough to like muddy the colors or anything, just to kind of dabble around a little bit with the color theory of them. And I tried to get my video finished by today, but I'm not good with estimating times. Probably a good thing I'm not like in the corporate world, because I'm not good at deadlines. At least setting my own deadlines. Like, I can listen to other people's deadlines, but my own deadlines, no. Also, if you are here, I will be doing a long stream on Tuesday. I'm not sure how long I'm going to go live for, but I am going to do like a really long stream because Tuesday is my birthday. And just with Eric's work schedule, we're not going to really get to do anything until Wednesday. So I have Tuesday free. And I'll just be going live for a birthday stream. I don't know yet if I'm going to start a new painting, if I'm going to continue working on this one. I might start a new painting just so, like, I mean, I don't really want to start a new one, but my niece's birthday is the beginning of March. We are both Pisces. And I do want to make her a painting for her birthday. She was telling me she looks up to me a lot more than I realized. It kind of melted my little heart. That you still love me? You don't think I'm cringe? You're not at that age yet where all the adults in your life are cringe? But it's really helping her get into art, and I want to make her a painting. She's still into Poppy Playtime, which is good. And I talked about this in a previous stream. And she told me her new favorite character is Doughy, like a Play-Doh man. And I already made her one with her previous favorite character from Poppy Playtime, Mama Longlegs. Or Mommy Longlegs. It's Mommy Longlegs or Mama Longlegs. And I want to make her a companion painting for it. Now, the weird thing about that painting is, what is it? Huggy Wuggy is another character in the game. He makes an appearance in it, in that painting. But all the other characters I added, I just made up because I know nothing about the game, and it was just off of things she was telling me. I was like, this game sounds crazy. And so, like, I kind of just made up some, like, medieval style monsters, like if they were modern, and added them in on a weird, like, I'll have to show that, like, if I decide to make that painting, I'll have to share what I made her prior. I only have pictures of it because she has it hanging in her room. But I think it would be really cool to make her a companion. I got to figure out some creatures to add into it, though. Got to do something to make the niece feel special for her birthday. Okay. Got kind of a second layer on most of them. Not quite done with the orange ones. I want to add a couple in here, a couple over here, and kind of beef these up a little bit. So that way it looks just as mixed as the background. And I need to not use like a big old glob of paint. Let's put one in the background. Look like it's being covered. Where did I put the leaves though? If I put a couple in the background and hide them there, it makes it look like there's a lot more thought put into their placement than there really is. It's a little art hack. Because see, now that looks intended. It looks like it was meant to be there, and it looks like I started on these flowers in different times. Just to have one kind of like obscured. I'm gonna try to only go for about 3 hours today, just because like I need to get back to the video. I just really wanted to get some painting done today too. I'm kind of like pressed on my memory until I finished my video, so I can't like record my current projects. Because I mean, I have a cloud account I can upload stuff to, but just like if I were to upload it all so I could record me working like this afternoon, then I'd have to delete it all from my device, record, upload that, then delete it all, and then re-download everything that I was working on prior. That's just too much work. It's just way too much work. Plus, this painting needs to get done too. I'm so close to this, the entire landscape portion being done. And then I could get started on the Pokemon that are supposed to be in this painting. And then I could get it mailed off. And I would be very happy. So maybe I will show the purple I use. I'm thinking about it because I gotta mix the purple together. Like it's a little bit, it's mainly Windsor purple with a little bit of crimson red in it. So like the purple stands out from the green. I'll mix that so you guys can see like what I do to try to get them to play nice, because purple and green should create a muddy mess. How's it going, Vex? I am glad that you have some medicine now. So hopefully you aren't sick too much longer. And no worries. I'm just gonna keep talking and rambling on while I paint. I hope you have fun with your game, whatever you may be playing. It's too thick of a blob. But yeah, with the purple, I'll kind of redshift it a little bit so you can see how I get it to pop. Actually, I think it was a little bit of crimson and a little bit of opera pink. I like opera pink because it really does like intensify colors. I also need to add in some like little bit of detailing work. So like I need to put a little bit of purple on the inside of these so I can have it coming out so they look like lilies instead of just like basic flowers. And then I also need to do the buds. So I'll probably have to do like a little bit of lemon yellow with the hooker's green. Not sure why it's called hooker's green, but I love the color just for its name. I know it's probably more something to do with like actually hooking up something or hooking on something on how it got its name. It was actually a short series I wanted to start before the world then went crazy. I wanted to like explore colors on how they got their names, like the etymology of colors. I thought that would have been a fun thing to talk about, like while I paint in shorts. That is on the back burner though. Oh, I love Baldur's Gate too. That was one of my favorite games to play on Xbox. I loved just getting all of the items and selling them and trying to like beef up my character. How's it going, Jenna? Yeah, I watch what is it, Becca with the Brush? And I love her like her color series and then Sarah Renee Clark. She's got a short series going on where she like has a color's name, like some obscure color, and she shows three separate colors and she's asking people like which one do you think is this actual color? And since I play with colors so much in my own paintings, I thought it would be fun to like explore how colors got their name. Like I've done some deep dives into like how we perceive color because that's kind of fascinated me. Like one of the things when I was little, like reading one of my freaking textbooks on birds on how they perceive colors and how like they can see ultraviolet colors that we can't see, which always made me like really jealous of birds. I wanted to see all the colors. And so like I looked into like how other animals like see color, like also like how do we know how other animals perceive colors? Because they can't talk to us. So like how do we know what they can see? And it's just like based off like the cones and the rods and the eyes and how the eye is built. We can get an idea. It's made me do some deep dives into things like that. Also, like how it's how I discovered I don't see colors the same way as most other people, particularly other men. I didn't realize like how prevalent color blindness is in men. 'Cause I see a lot more color. At least I perceive a lot more color than other men other men typically. But then like it's also led me into like other studies. I was reading one a couple weeks ago about, oh, I can't remember the name of the tribe. There is a tribe in Africa that they have like 500 different words for green, and each green is distinctly different. They are all different hues of green. And because they have so many names for green, typically the people in this tribe are able to see and differentiate between all of these greens in ways that most other people cannot. And it like the study was just talking about like how because they have labels for all these greens, it trains their brain to notice the difference more so than other people. And so they're able to perceive green in such a more diverse way than any other human on earth, and I thought that was really cool. Yeah, exactly. It makes me feel very fortunate. I one of my eye doctors when I was a teenager was telling me like I have he believed I didn't get tested for it and I'm not sure how they would test for it. But there is a thing where people can have an extra set of cones and it causes them to see purple more vividly, and it happens more typically within women, and that women naturally can just see more colors because I guess it is a higher rate of happening within women. And this eye doctor believed that I had this same ability or the same set of cones. I have no idea if it's true or not. I haven't gotten tested for it. Not that I feel like it would really do anything. I don't think like I would be able to do anything with that knowledge. Like, oh, yeah, you do have an extra set of cones. Oh, cool. It doesn't change how I see the color. But then going into like going back over to that study about the tribe in Africa, it led me into like how colors have evolved over time with people. And did you know like for the longest time, we didn't have a name for or for blue, and I thought that was really weird. And people associated blue with black and green, and so a lot of like old books and old stories when we read them and they're talking about like the color of the ocean and it's like a green or it's a black, it's because like they didn't have a word for blue. And from what I remember, like the first documented colors that we could see and that we believe like people really like latched onto were reds. And that's like one of the reasons why we have so many distinctions for reds. So like I can equate this for modern people. Brown is a red or an orange. If you desaturate a red or desaturate an orange, you will get brown. And it looks so distinct to us because we have all these names for browns and oranges and reds. They were just some of the first colors that we were naming as humans, and it's just kind of like built into us now that we can just distinguish all these different reds. Like pink is another one. Pink is just a red, but it looks so distinct to us now, and it's because we have all these labels for pink that our brain is able to like really capture onto these differences within the color. And so like the people in the past, could they see blue? Absolutely, they could see blue. But because they didn't have any names or labels for it, it just wasn't as vivid to them. Their brains held on to more of the reds, the yellows, oranges, greens, and black. They had a lot of different names for black. And I thought that was really interesting. It definitely made me think about color and the way that we perceive it and the way that we work with color as artists. And then thinking about how is it going to change, because we keep getting new names for all these different shades, because with technology we can digitally make colors distinct, even if not everybody can tell they're distinct colors because they're just so close. But over time, if we're able to hammer in these different names for them, would it cause people to now maybe see purple in a different way? I mean, we're kind of heading there with magenta, uh, burgundy, and purples, and we're really able to see all sorts of different shades of purples in ways that, well, I love, just because I love purples. But how is that going to change in the future? How would it change our brains to perceive it? I love going down these kinds of rabbit holes. Thinking about these kinds of things. I had those kinds of questions too when I was a kid. I used to ask questions like that too. She's asking the right questions for an artist. And especially for colorblind people, yeah, the way that they see color is very different from us. So she absolutely could be right. Just because the way that our brains are trying to differentiate from colors when we are colorblind, they could absolutely see green as a yellow, or if they're red color blind, they could see reds in different shades of grays and greens and yellows. Because color blindness doesn't mean you can't see any kind of color. It's typically you're missing a cone, or a set of your cones are weaker than the others, so that you just don't perceive a certain color. That's why you can overstimulate your cones, with in very intense reds and, I think reds and greens. You can overwork them so they kind of stop taking in information for a period, and that's how you can make yourself see that new shade of teal that Chloe Rosart used in her last video. So if you stare at it a specific shade, I think it's red. I want to say it's red. If you overstimulate your eye with a specific shade of red, when you look away and you look at another color, your brain actually shifts it into this super high, vivid teal that we don't normally see. And then once those cones are no longer overworked and they've rested for a second, they'll start taking in the information for reds again. And because your cones are now taking in more information for reds, it desaturates that teal, so then you don't see it as vividly anymore. Becca with a brush, actually, in one of her videos, she actually did the experiment in her video for everybody, which I thought was really cool, because I was gonna try and do it to myself, because I had saw the new color come out, and I had read some stuff on it, and then Becca's video came out, and I was like, oh, cool. I don't have to try to recreate the experiment. She does it in her video. I bet your daughter would have fun with like those color experiments where you can see an inverted, like if you stare at an inverted color of something and then you look at a pure white page, you'll see the correct colors of it. Like they used to do this with flags when I was in elementary school. Like they would have pictures of different countries' flags in inverted colors, and you would just stare at the picture for a minute, but then you would look away at something pure white and you would still see like an after image of that flag, but it would be in its correct colors. Your daughter would probably love stuff like that. Or Magic Eye is another one that uses like messes around with our vision and our the way that our brains take in visual information to create cool images, like those Magic Eye books from the 80s and 90s. I did too. I actually think I have some in like an old box somewhere. I might need to like look for them. I always wanted to learn how to create a magic eye. Maybe I can do that this year. They look really intense. But it could be fun. No dying. I said no dying. Thank you. Yeah, I would have to do some like work into researching on how to create them, how they work, and understanding them so like I could create a magic eye image. I got the idea to do that though because there's a prompt in I think it's create this book. It's either how much art can you make or create this book. There's a prompt that made me like, oh, I could make a magic eye image and that would work for this prompt. And then like I was thinking like, wait, how would I actually make a magic eye image? It'd definitely be an intensive video, which I need to get back to when I finish this. I just gotta try my best to focus. Maybe actually finally like make an appointment with the doctor to see about different medications that might help. I think I'm so like traumatized from my childhood and taking pills that I really do not want to take medications. Like I don't even like taking the pain pills the doctor was giving me after my car accident. Like I actually had pain pills go bad because I just sat on them for so long I never took them or used them. Hmm. I don't want to do too much orange. I want to make it kind of even between the orange and purple, and I think in like about getting there. Yeah, I think maybe just like one more. Also, I don't know if you guys were able to hear it in one of the last videos, but if you hear any crashes, there, snow and ice have been sliding off of the roof and out of the gutters all day. So, nothing to be too alarmed by if you hear anything. I have a feeling we're gonna end up hearing some more. We got so much freaking snow, and then we're like in the 60s today, or 50s. We were in the 50s today. We're gonna get up into the 60s later on this week. I'm just like, talk about whiplash. You should see some of the pictures coming out of Tahoe. I was watching one family trying to clear the snow off their car and get it unburied, and it was like 5 feet above the top of their car. They got hammered with snow. Could you make half a pot of coffee, please? I could use a little bit of coffee. And since Eric is in the kitchen. I didn't say all that. I was nicer about it. The dogs should be fine this for now. Give it about an hour and a half, and they might get a little excited for dinner. But oh yeah, I shouldn't say the word, but we do still have a little bit of time for that. I made sure they were all taken care of. As long as you have it before 5, you should be fine. Eric was debating whether or not he wants coffee too.
Do it. That's probably what they say.
I'm still getting used to like how well the speakers are, because there are some things that are super clear to me that I guess you guys didn't hear, and then there's things where like I'm like, okay, so they can't hear that stuff, but you guys were able to hear. So like I need to take account to like some things outside. I'm definitely going to be able to hear, you guys not so much. Like I thought for sure that that crash, and I rewatched it to see if I could hear it to see what time it happened. I couldn't find it, but there was that loud crash from the UPS truck hitting that parked truck. But I don't think anybody heard it. But it definitely got my attention. I think it was a UPS truck. I don't know. It was a mail truck. Okie dokie. Now I need to make my purple. Oh no, I think it dried out. All my colors are dried. I didn't close it all the way. This is the importance of making sure your stuff is closed. That was a decent amount of paint. But I do want to try to figure out a project to use, like when I do clear out my paint palette and I rip out all the dry paint. I still don't want to waste it. I want to try to figure out something I could do with it. Okay. we have to we have to get Onyx his and we have to get Baxter something too. Actually, I think we're gonna give Onyx a large Chewy, but I have to try to say that weird so he doesn't understand. But his gotcha day was the 18th, and we had to wait till payday so we could get him something. He doesn't know the difference, but we're still gonna like celebrate his gotcha day. And then Baxter's is the first week of March, or well, the 8th. So we also have to get Baxter, but Baxter's more about food, where Onyx is all about like toys and the kind that he likes to chew on. Baxter just loves food, any kind of food, which makes it super easy. Like with Rascal, we'll probably do the same thing with Baxter. Rascal was very food driven and loved human food, so we would get him like a cheeseburger for his birthday. We might do the same thing for Baxter. I have not worked with resin. To tell you the truth, resin kind of scares me. I don't like using gloves. Like I would need to though because I am very accident prone, like super accident prone. So it is something I would absolutely need to wear gloves with. But like also the fumes and but I didn't work with it when I had an opportunity because I had Solo, my lovebird, and birds and any kind of fumes do not do well together. You have to be aware of like certain kinds of cooking oils that you cannot cook with in the house because just cooking with the cooking oils could kill them. So like that was the original reason I never got into it, and then I'm really like that kind of like freaked me out a little bit when I was looking into like how easy resin could just take animals from you because it's super toxic and really bad to get on your skin. We're not aware of their actual birthdays, so we just call it their birthdays. When we adopted them, they didn't know either. They just gave us like their best estimate on their age, which I think they were a little off on Baxter. I think Baxter was actually older than they told us. I'm thinking if he was 10 when we got him, he would be 12, but I think he's more between 14 and 16. Just I've been around dogs for a while, and some of the things that he's showing are very like typical of dogs in that age range. So I'm hoping it's not, and it's just because he was overweight for so long that it really took a toll on his health, and that we can get him like super healthy again. But it's I'm thinking they tried saying he was younger than he really was to get him adopted, even though like we were gonna adopt him no matter what. I think Onyx though was pretty spot on. Like, they told us Onyx was 10 when we adopted him, and he's going to be, or he, they'll make him 13 now. Yeah, 13, and he acts like about 13, 14 years old. add some more of this purple in the background. Just so the purples match a little bit better. I went a little more red than I did in the background. I get like I get why they do that, but at the same time I'm just kind of like I wish you wouldn't do that, but it's because somebody sees like, "Oh, this dog is 12 years old. I don't want to adopt them. I want a dog longer than that." And so then they don't get adopted out. That's why I try to go for older dogs. They need love too. But I am getting ready to like we're saving up. We know we're gonna have to drop a pretty penny here soon on the dogs. They need to get their teeth cleaned and updates on their vaccines. And looking at about $700 vet bill at the at least. But they're worth it. I want them to be healthy and happy for a long, long time. Oh no. I'm glad you guys were able to get everyone rescued. I had a friend. I couldn't really be around cats, otherwise I would have taken one. But I had a friend in high school who her cat had a couple litters, but every litter she just rejected all the kittens. And so it was always a rescue situation with them on making sure that they were getting fed properly. If I'm remembering correctly, her mom would try to find somebody who had a cat who could nurse and see if the cat would take on like an additional kitten just so the kittens could nurse properly. But like, yeah, her she loved her cat, but her cat had absolutely no maternal instincts. Absolutely none. And that kind of like that always confused me. Also, I didn't understand like why they didn't get her fixed. If she had no maternal instincts, but she kept having litters of kittens. I think I might need to tine a little bit more green from the tree in these background trees. I just don't want to go too dark because then it's going to throw off the illusion and make this part look closer than it needs to be. feels good to paint. I've been wanting to paint all day. I'm trying to get work done. And all I can think about is like, can I paint yet? Can I paint yet? Can I paint yet? Can I paint yet? Okay, definitely got the purple tightened better. I'm gonna do that now while I'm thinking of it. And while I still have the green. Yeah, that's the right one. Okay. Double check that I have the right one. It's so funny the things that my brain nitpicks. But I always tend to like the final result, so like I can't complain too much about how nitpicky my brain is. Because it does something I like. And it is going so much better. And I forgot I have... yeah, I guess it'll be fine. Yeah, I'll be fine. Might have to, when I finish this, throw on Chantel's new video. I wanted to watch hers, but I also like didn't put anything on because I was editing a video and I'll get sucked into what I'm watching. But I want to watch her newest video. I did watch Spam Create's newest video and Rose Requin's video. I really like Rose's video. It was nice seeing her get back into create this book. And then Spam Creates made a new character today based off of a suggestion I made that made me feel all warm and fuzzy. She did such a good job bringing this character to life. just toning down some of the green because it's a little dark. But I do feel like they're matching the tree a lot better now. Okay, now that that detour is done, I can get back into the purple. I'm gonna need to add in just a touch of white. Is this white still any good? A little bit. That is such a silly, like, not a very big change, but it is enough that I like it a little bit more. Well, they were already picked out. This is a very special Pokemon painting. But I will save that for your son so he can see them when I get started on them. There is going to be 3. One here, and one up here. And then I want to do another one. Thank you. I actually have a couple sketched out I really want to like work on. Cuz like all I need to do is just add the color. Okay, why does the honey sound like Winnie the Pooh? With his rumbly
Just a little scrumptious.
with his little rumbly tumbly.
Just a little.
No, it's like when it rumbles, he's listening to it, he pulls up his shirt and it goes
He just wants a little morsel.
Eric is making my coffee and I like honey in my coffee.
My little Pooh Bear.
Honey containers over there like struggling to get let honey come out.
I think I can.
Now I'm noticing like I just went over all the purple because I liked it, but then I was like it's maybe a little too dark when it dries. So I lightened it a little bit and now it's really standing out from the back ones. The back ones are all darker. I need them lighter.
Oh, Kevin. I need to pay attention. I almost put vinegar in this. Oops.
Silly little things. I appreciate you paying attention just in time to not dump vinegar into my coffee cup.
It would be tart.
Tart. That's a way to explain it. It'd be tart.
Is vinegar bitter? That was correct.
I will say, I like that it's making, like, well, it's kind of making them look a little bit more bunched together. Like how I'm painting them here, they're going to be bunched together, so that's okay. But it is making them look a little less like a pattern and more staggered.
Some of the veggies are drying in the soup.
Eric has now gone off to his hidey hole. He's going to go play some WoW. Wow. I'm kind of hoping we get a game for my birthday. I was talking about it earlier or well, last week I was talking about Hyrule Warriors, and there's a new one out, and I'm kind of really wanting to play it. And him and I played the other two together, and it was a lot of fun. We would do like date nights, spontaneous date nights with it. Eric would be like, "I don't want to cook. Can I order out?" And we would get like pizza, wings, and stuff, and set up the living room. So like we would have wine or beer and our whatever we got for our date food. Turn on just the ambient lights, turn off all the other lights, and just play Hyrule Warriors together. Kind of wanting to do that again. It has been so long since we've done anything like that. There we go. That's much better. Yeah, it's such a good two-player game. You're just like you pick one of the Legends of Zelda's character, one of the Legend of Zelda's characters, like from Breath of the Wild, although the new one's now Tears of the Kingdom, and like you're kind of going through the story that wasn't told in the core game, and you're just beating hordes and hordes and hordes of monsters while like learning a little bit about the lore of the game, like Breath of the Wild, the backstory that they didn't tell, and it's just like you're just beating hundreds of monsters. A lot less exploring and crafting like in the regular Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, but it's just fun. Like you're just mindlessly beating hordes of monsters trying to protect a fort. And those kinds of games are just so much fun with another person. Although I will say I am also excited for my actual birthday date. We're gonna go get sushi. I haven't had sushi in so long. And it is a little pricey, but so we could afford it. Eric got Wednesday off. He was able to get the day after my birthday off. So we're gonna go get lunchy. We're gonna go get sushi for lunch because the all you can eat sushi is like half the price of the dinner price, but it's all the same stuff just during lunch hours. So gotta do what we gotta do to be able to afford to go on a date, right? Oh, nice. How's it going, Illustrated? Uh, Honestly, I'm all about a good like California roll. Uh, but I bounce around. I try all sorts of sushi because I was allergic to fish for most of my life, and like to the point where I almost ended up in the hospital because like my throat was swelling up from some crab. And then suddenly all like I accidentally ate something with fish in it. What was it? I don't remember what it was. It had like oysters in it, and it was really good. But then like somebody saw me eating it, and so we waited, and I didn't have a reaction, and so I had another allergy test done, and like I was no longer allergic to seafood because I used to have like really bad reactions to it, and then suddenly lost it. I did not like that was when I learned you can lose allergies because I went to like get the shots done and found out like nothing came up that showing I was allergic to it, and I was like, I used to have reactions. What's going on to this? And the doctor's like, well, about every 7 years or so, like you will your allergies will change, and so like I just didn't have a reaction to it anymore. And so I've been trying like all of the things. So I don't really like have a set roll that I really like. If it's got like lemon in it, any kind of cream cheese, I love cream cheese. Um, I really like crab, shrimp, tuna. Salmon's like eh. But what else? There's a couple others that I just like. I really love. Although I do not like squid. I do not like octopus. I won't eat octopus for other reasons, but I won't eat octopus or unagi eel. Those are the ones I just absolutely cannot do. I tried them. I'll accept the octopus. Personal belief: I don't eat octopus because they're self-aware. It's also why I try not to eat any pork because pigs are self-aware. If the animal is self-aware, that's like my own personal boundary. Any animal that's been proven to be self-aware, I won't eat. And octopi have been proven to be self-aware, so I won't eat them. I won't stop anybody from eating them. Like Eric absolutely loves octopus. I can't do it. Oh, I do like lobster, so that makes me a little sad that you're allergic to lobster now. Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought like I just thought you once you were allergic to something, like if you were allergic to something, you were allergic to it. That was just your body was just programmed to not like those things. So I always just assumed like whatever you were allergic to, you're always allergic to. I had no idea you gain and lose allergies throughout your life. And most of the time, you'll never even know you're allergic to something because you won't even come across it. So like you could have a reaction to something, but because you never came across it, you just never have that reaction, so you don't even know you're allergic to something. And it like could be a whole new allergy. Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of fun. We have two really good sushi places really close to us, so if we decide to have get a little day drunk, an Uber won't cost too much. And really, we could walk, but I don't like walking when I'm drunk. I did that in my 20s. I don't want to do that again. I had to walk a shame. My 20s, and I had to walk like 2.5 miles because I was too drunk to drive, and I had friends who were like, just drive. No, I'm not going to drive. And they were all too drunk and trying to get me to go with them, and I was like, no, I'm not going to drive with you guys. And I just walked home because everybody was drunk. I wouldn't get in the car with anybody because they were drunk. I didn't want to drive because I was drunk, and so I walked my little butt 2.5 miles home, and I never want to do that again. So like luckily it's close enough. If we get an Uber, it's probably gonna be like 10-15 bucks. And I have not seen that documentary. I am going to have to look for that. Octopi kind of amaze me. They're such cool creatures. And the fact that they're related to snails blows my mind with how smart they are. Oh no, I am an emotional person. You're gonna make me watch something that's gonna make me cry. I've watched documentaries on octopi, like how smart they are, and watching them problem solve and get out of like weird labyrinths to show like their thinking capabilities and their memory and how they perceive the world, and how a lot of octopi are able to like see themselves in a mirror. It's not a true test of like self-awareness, but like if an animal can recognize itself in a mirror, that's typically a good sign that they're self-aware. And octopi being able to understand they're looking at their own reflection. Okay, I mean, it's probably going to make me cry because octopi don't live very long. I will definitely have to watch it. I would love to have a pet octopi, but they are way too smart. I have seen people try to keep octopi in tanks, and they are just too smart and escape artists. And I had a friend a couple years ago. He has salt. He has a saltwater tank, and he had an octopi or an octopus, but he got rid of it because it escaped. But then it like there was a second tank underneath the main tank, so he had the main tank is set up, but then he had an under tank. It was like a filtration system and like a way to keep the salt levels appropriate. It was a lot of work that he put into it, but the octopus escaped from the top tank, got down into the ground and opened up the door into this like secondary tank, got inside that and unplugged one of the hoses and caused the entire fish tank to flood, like his entire living room and kitchen. So like after that I was just like, I will never have an octopus. I might get a fish tank again, but I will never have an octopus. And yeah, after that he had to get rid of it. He was just like, I cannot risk this happening again, because that was like thousands of dollars of damage. Yeah, the no bones. They're able to do some crazy things because of no bones. All right, Jenna, you have a good night. I appreciate you spending some time here. I don't even know if they're showing up. Are they showing up? Oh yeah, they're showing up. They're gonna pop a little bit more when I get some detail done on them. God, I need to. I haven't talked to him in a while. I should reach out and figure out what he's been up to. Tell people I'm sorry. I don't keep in contact that well. It's nothing personal. I just forget you exist because of ADHD.
had friends before. You forget I exist? I don't mean to. I'm sorry. It's just out of sight, out of mind, and then like I totally forget you're an actual person that exists. It is absolutely nothing personal. I love you, and you are a great friend. I needed some reminders sometime that you exist. Like talking about octopi, I don't know. I haven't reached out to him in a couple years. I think once I finish these lilies, not have a blob. I'm just gonna add in some stuff, a little bit of ground cover, add some dimension there, and then I can get started on these Pokemon. I might need to like sketch out their poses first though on a separate piece of paper just so like I know what I'm doing. I have put so much work into this, and it always scares me when because I'm gonna white it out first wherever I put them. I'm gonna white it out first, and then I'm gonna paint over it, and I don't want to mess up anything else. Yeah, and I feel bad too, especially like when I see somebody I haven't seen in a while and I run into them randomly and they're just like, "Oh, like we were supposed to hang out like 2 years ago and you got busy and then you never reached out and now like 2 years has passed and I feel really bad and I feel like a really bad friend." And I just try to tell them like, "Look, I'm really sorry. I don't mean to. I'm just really bad with remembering people exist." However, though, like as I've gotten older, I have used that as a valid reason to talk myself out of buying stuff because I have a lot of stuff that I forget I have and I don't really utilize it the way that I would want to. So like now before I get stuff, as I've gotten older, I've gotten a lot better at this. Instead of buying like just immediately buying it, I'll like if it's like an actual object instead of filling my space with more stuff. I'm like, am I gonna use this and am I gonna remember it exists? And if I think about where I'm gonna place it and then actually go, I'm not gonna remember it exists because of where I'm gonna place it. I talk myself out of buying it, which has gotten like I've gotten so much better with budgeting after doing that. Asking myself, am I gonna remember this exists? And if not, then I just don't purchase it. Like my Pokemon plushies are one. Like I love my Pokemon plushies, and I have a bunch. I have them hanging all up in the room where I can see them every single day, and I still forget they exist. Like they are all over my shelves. I have some hanging from the ceiling with my they're sitting with my Pokemon cards, but like I forget they're sitting there. And Pokemon plushes are expensive. Like there's a couple plushes I have that are like $80 each. I I got them on sales and stuff like that. Like there was one Pokemon plush, a Kyogre plush that was like $60, but the Target employees that was stocking up the plushie shelf, they had like were clearancing them all out, and because Kyogre just looked like a normal Pokemon plush, it had gotten the clearance ticket when it wasn't supposed to, and it was clearance down to like $6. And I went to get it. It scanned, and it was scanning for like the 50 something or $60. And I was like, nah, the tag on it, like your employee places tag on there. This is the advertised price now, and I got it talked down to $6 from 50. That was like that kind of thing. I'll justify buying something that might be a little expensive. I might forget I have. But I used to do that all the time. I got so good at that, like just purposefully hunting in stores where I know the employees are not gonna know, like my what I collect that well. And this was before like all the scalpers ruined it. And I got so much stuff for like super discounted prices. I found a Lego set, the Millennial Falcon at Walmart one year, and I had gotten it for my brother for Christmas. It was supposed to be like $250, and I got it for $25 just because of like the way that the employee was just restocking everything, and they had put it like they had restocked all these Millennium Falcons in a different spot that was like for a different kind of Millennial Falcon. And like I took a picture of it when I saw it because I knew the price wasn't right. And I made sure like they had to get the manager out there. Now the manager went and checked the aisle to make sure like everything was stocked in the improper spot. But I ended up getting it for that discounted price. How's it going, Great Cloud? I am a very frugal person with my hobbies. I do the same thing like when I go to art stores, I will look specifically for things that are like I normally get that maybe like improperly priced or something like that just so I can get it at a discounted price cuz things are expensive and I do not have a lot of money. It's like one of the things about here in Nevada is like the stores aren't as big into couponing as they are in the Midwest. Like it's possible to coupon out here, but like it's just not the same. I've had friends who live in the Midwest after like living in Las Vegas, and they're like, "No, coupons are a big thing out here." So I guess it's kind of like my own way of like couponing. I will do everything I can to try to get discounted items. Do you need to go potty? Yeah, okay, give me a second. I gotta go let the dogs out. I have a sign. It's not the bestest sign in the world, but it is a sign. I will be right back. Alright, let's go potty. Come on. Go potty. Come on, go. Listen for the doggies. They went outside potty. I got your treat. Come on. Baxter. Baxter, let's get your treat. You went potty. Give me your treat. Come here. Give me your treat. Just get started. Onyx, don't you want your treat? Were you the good boys?
Yes.
Were you the good boys?
Yes.
And I am back.
Just gotta make sure when they let me know they need to go potty, I gotta go take care of them. I don't like holding it. I know they don't like holding it. And we don't get accidents. We have a couple out here. They're definitely just like not as good as like some of the other parts of the country. I have noticed like we do not get as good of coupons and things like that out here. But Eric does like he's on for like Save On or Save Mart. We have one for a Save Mart, a grocery store out here. And he gets some really good deals sometimes. I'm pretty impressed. Like we were able to have steak for
6 ribeyes for $50.
we were able to get steaks for Valentine's Day because he got 5 big ribeyes. They were like what 2 pounds each? About 2 pounds each for $50. So of course we froze some of it and saving it for special occasions.
We had to cut each one in half. They're huge.
And it was like just a special like members deal. Yeah, with the prices of beef, when he saw that, it was just like he couldn't really pass it up. So yeah, we froze some. We were able to have like him and I made our Valentine's Day date dinner. I did baked potato style mashed potatoes. We did a garlic and rosemary herb steaks, and he grilled them. Also did like fettuccine alfredo and roasted carrots and asparagus. It was a little bit, quite a bit of food, and we had leftovers for a couple days, but it was a good date. Like
I had lunch for a couple days.
it was like an actual holiday meal.
There you go. It can be quick.
But those kinds of deals are very like far and few between. They just do not happen that often. Flowers are looking very, very flat. I'm gonna have to add quite a bit of detail work. I'm definitely liking this purple though a lot better. Oh, I forgot. Like, I started one right here. And I totally forgot about it because I was letting Baxter go to the restroom. I will get you your thing as soon as Baxter's done. I know, you're getting pushy, but Baxter's still finishing eating. Onyx is so used to getting his little, like, dental after he eats. The dog's got to brush her teeth as well. He gets so antsy for it. But I have to give it to him at the same time, otherwise he'll steal Baxter's, and he shouldn't be eating a whole bunch of those. Okay. This won't take that long. I'm just gonna go give them their dental really quick.
Come here, I know you guys are good boys. Gotta brush your little teeths. Let's see if I can. There he is. Oh, I'm showing something. I didn't realize I was showing. Can you say hi, Onyx? No, he's too busy with his Chewy.
If you saw something, no, you didn't. I didn't mean to show that. I forgot that was right there. That is definitely for an upcoming video. It's what I originally wanted to work on, but I don't have enough memory at the moment until I get my video finished editing. I'll show you what I was trying to show.
I was just trying to show the dogs. Baxter with his dental and Onyx was chewing on his.
Okay, slow down, Onyx. Your water's not going nowhere, I promise. Yeah, they're in their sweaters. They went on their walk before my live Eric ended up taking them. So they get their little sweaters on. And then they just wanted to keep them on. We try to take it off, and then like Onyx will fight us. He'll let us know like he wants to keep it on. I just totally forgot it was what I was my main project I'm working on is just sitting in front of the fireplace. It's just an easy, convenient place to put it, so like I could switch out what I'm working on. And I had put it there because it was still drying. Totally forgot I had placed it there, and Onyx was just chewing on his dental right in front of it and just totally spaced. I'll give you a hint though. It's for that 30-hour challenge I'm doing. Which I have only completed 10 hours of. I still have 20 more hours to go. That's why I don't have the memory for it either. 20 hours worth of footage is a lot of memory. It was high 40s earlier. And then we got into the 50s afterwards, and now we're back down into the 40s. Tonight, like, we're going to be down in the 20s. I shouldn't say that's really cold. I've been in colder, but it's going to be a cold night. Especially because we have so much snow all over the place melting, too. It's going to be ice all over the place, and I don't want to walk in ice. Depends on the paintings. Some I can get done pretty quick. Like the emotional state painting I finished last week. That was 22 hours. This one I am currently at... I have it written down. Oh, it's on my phone. I can't look it up at the moment. But I'm like 70 something hours on this one. I create this book. They'll take between 5 and 10 hours, depending on the piece. I do really enjoy getting lost in the process. That is something I really do enjoy. If I'm going with the flow, those paintings I can get done really quick. Where I'm just like in the zone, letting it just come out and not really thinking about it. But when I'm thinking about it and there's a lot of intention in my paintings, then yeah, they take forever. But I have a lot of fun with it, so.
It's the odd DHD, it's the autistic ADHD combination. I'm able to hyper focus on like special interests. I can hyper focus on them like there's no tomorrow. But if it isn't an interest of mine, like trying to force it, oh my goodness, I struggle. And it was my biggest hurdle in school, and it's currently my biggest hurdle with editing my videos. The main issue I was having this morning is I wasn't getting like the sound to sync up right. It was really like I don't know what happened, but like the audio and the video itself, even though they're together, they weren't linking up right. They were off. And it was kind of like those old school animes where the voice acting isn't lining up with the mouth movements. And it was driving me insane because I'm looking at myself and my mouth isn't lining up with my words. And I couldn't figure out what the issue was. And I was just getting so frustrated with it. And because I wasn't enjoying it, I wasn't interested in doing that. I was just like, going really, really slow. And I was like, I'm not going to get it done today. I want to paint. That's what's on my mind more. So I'll go live. I can at least, like, I have paintings I can work on for lives. I can still get some work done. It makes my brain a little happy. I'm being productive. It's trying to find ways to work with our mind. And the thing is, like, what really sucks is I was in a group where it was like a bunch of people with ADHD trying to like help each other with tips and tricks that they do to like work easier within society and like at jobs and things like that. And like it just what worked for me didn't work for others. What worked for others didn't work for me. We were just all over the place. Yeah, that's kind of what was going on with the my video earlier because with the sound not lining up, my mind was like going like, why isn't the sound lining up? It looks really funny. It's kind of reminding me of Speed Racer. Oh, I haven't seen Speed Racer in a while. I could put on Speed Racer and I could watch some Speed Racer, and then my mind is now wandering about like anime, and I'm just like, oh yeah, like Speed Racer's an anime. Oh, I haven't seen Naruto in a while. I kind of want to watch some new episodes of that, and then like I'm just not concentrating on editing my video, and I'm not getting work done because it's just making my mind go all over the place because it's not working properly. So I'm losing interest in it because it's not working the way it should be working. And then like math textbooks, I hated math textbooks. And I struggle with math textbooks, but actually implementing math when it's in a way that I'm interested in, like with science, like because I was taking physics classes in astronomy, and that's all math. I was fine. I was like super interested in it. I was like, oh, I'm understanding all of this. I can do these formulas, no problem. But then reading a textbook for an actual math class, and I'm just sitting there like, I don't get it. All it needs to be though is applied in a special interest of mine, like space is a special interest of mine. And then like yeah, I could pick everything up for it and understand it and pay attention. That happens to me sometimes too. That's why I really go through the audio on my videos because sometimes I'll go in tangents. You guys absolutely see it in my live, but I think like it's a different experience from videos.
I try to be a little bit more concise in my videos than on my lives. And that's like the main thing I'm editing is I'm like editing out unnecessary things that I'm just like throwing out there that I'm talking about, or like I'll make weird mouth noises that I don't really like and they bug me, so like I edit out the weird mouth noises. Cuz like my voiceover, I'm talking directly into the microphone, so it really picks up those weird mouth noises, and I I, I don't like that. It makes me super self-conscious. But that stuff is like super hard to work for because I have to pay attention. And it's happened to me a couple times on the live, so I'll be like talking and I'll be like, wait, what was I talking about? Mm-mm. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Goodness gracious, Baxter. We got him new dentals. And I guess he really likes this one. Man, he is going to town on it. Sir, am I going to have to watch you to make sure you don't choke on it? He isn't choking, but he is just like really loving this one. I have alarms set in my phone just for that. A big issue with mine when I'm home, like I'll be like, oh, I should take a nap. I could take a nap and then I'll be energized to get something else done. And that will get in my mind, and I have to have like an emergency alarm set for every single day just in case, even though like I don't really take naps that often, but just in case I end up taking a nap, I have an alarm that goes off at 2:45. No matter what I'm doing, where I'm at, there's just an alarm that goes off at 2:45, and it's just my emergency, did you take a nap alarm? You need to wake up. And then I have alarms for making sure I get the dishes done, or when I need to start dinner. Like I have an alarm that goes off at 3:30 to make sure that like if I'm cooking dinner that night and I'm home, like the alarm goes off like it's like this is the time you need to start cooking dinner, because I cook everything from scratch, so it does take a little while, and I need to make sure I get dinner cooked. I have an alarm to remind me to drink water, because yeah, I don't like migraines from dehydration. Those aren't fun. So I have an alarm that just kind of like beeps at me about every hour and a half, 2 hours. Oh, it's on this one. I can't check it, but I think it's either every 1.5 hours or every 2 hours, just so I can drink water, because I'll forget to drink water. And if there's something else going on, like I just have alarms. Oh, shower. That's a big one for me. I spend way too long in the shower. And so like I will have to like set a stopwatch to like time me so I don't spend too long in the shower, because I'll go into the shower and it's not even like I'm doing anything. I'm just cleaning. And the next thing I know, like 45 minutes has passed. And I'm like, I only wanted to take a 15-minute shower. What the heck? Or brushing my teeth. Like, I timed myself once on just brushing my teeth. Like, not really paying attention to it. Just like, I thought I had set my my timer to go off to remind me, like, you need to make sure you're done in the bathroom by this time so you can get to work on time. But what I ended up doing was just clicking, like, the counter for the stop clock. And it was just keeping count for how long I was going. And I was, like, brushing my teeth, doing my thing. And by the time I finished brushing my teeth, I looked at my phone. Like 6.5 minutes had passed. Like, you're only supposed to brush your teeth for 2 minutes, and 6.5 minutes of brushing my teeth. Which made me realize, like, oh, I should probably set a timer for that one too. I am spending way too long brushing my teeth. Oh, nice. How's it going, Rory? Nice to see you in. Yeah, it helps so much with ADHD. Having just alarms set for different things that I know like are reoccurring, or like my accidental like you took a nap alarm. Right, you're always like super cold before you get in the shower, and you're just like, oh, but like right now I'm kind of warm, and if I go to get in the shower, I'm gonna have that period where I'm cold. Yeah, I get that. But then like once you get in the shower, you're just like, oh, it's so nice and warm. Most of the time I'm in there just like thinking about whatever painting I'm working on at the moment. I agree. Autocorrect AI has absolutely ruined autocorrect. I have so many words changed to things like I didn't mean. I had to delete a message earlier, a comment on somebody else's, like somebody had commented on one of my videos and I was responding to it, and autocorrect all of a sudden like just added in all these words that didn't make any sense. I'm like trying to figure out what I said, and I'm like, that's not what I said at all. Completely changing words on me. I think like one of my apps, my keyboard app must have like updated or something, because I had that kind of stuff turned off. I love autocorrect because like I'm a bad speller, and it will absolutely like correct my spelling, but then like it's doing these like weird suggestion autofill things, and I don't like it. Like it's constantly I'll and I've watched it do this because I was just getting so frustrated with it. I'll put in on, and it keeps changing it to in, and I don't know why it's doing that. I'm like, I feel like if it's the AI, it should be able to tell by context that it's supposed to be on. I don't know why it would change it to in. And there's a couple other words that really like frustrate me. Because I'm like, no, I meant what I said. Why are you changing it? I have most of the AI tools turned off on my phone. I do not find them useful or helpful at all. It's also really bad at like um, Spanish words too. I hate that. I had my phone like I'm not very fluent in Spanish, but I know some stuff, and I had my phone trained for like the Spanish words I did use, and like after the last, I don't know if this was this most recent update or the one before that, but like it ruined my key like all of my saved words because I had a bunch of Spanish words saved. And Baxter, slow down, buddy. Baxter. Back to Earth. There you go.
Yeah.
But like it just completely forgot all of the Spanish words I would type. And now it's like purposefully keeping it so separate. Like English and Spanish are so separated now within the internal dictionary that it just keeps trying to change them into English words. And I'm like, no, I know what I meant. And it seems like it's so much harder to retrain for like for what I had it trained to do to understand me before. I think I'm going to be able to at least get the base color done of all of the lilies. And I can go in and like add some little detailing to make the petals look separate and help them stand out, because right now the purple is just getting so lost in that green.
Hmm. Oh, I bet that's also really frustrating.
It's probably right on par with it trying to turn my the whatever Spanish word I'm using into an English word. And I know there's a lot of terminology for horses. I have a friend, she owns a ranch just a little bit north of here, and she raises and breeds her own horses. She's like really big into breeding show and race horses. She gets all excited and she'll tell me about stuff that she's done. I'm super lost, but I love her. It's funny because she gets super excited about it. Like she's also ADHD. So when she gets super excited about something, that excitement is infectious, even though I have no idea what she's talking about. That she was like talking about how she joined this one, she got an invitation to a very like high ranking horse auction, and she ended up placing and winning a bid for a male racehorse that like he got an injury, and she just like she was able to get some kind of or DNA work done on the horse before the start of the auction. So she knew she wanted this horse, and she wanted to see if like the injury, if the horse was predisposed to getting this kind of injury, or if it was just a fluke thing. And I guess the DNA testing came back that the horse is not predisposed to getting these kinds of injuries. So she's like, oh, so it's a fluke thing. It must have been like the horse running over a rock or something. But it was like a pretty serious injury, so she was expecting people to not bid on the horse, and she was super excited that she won. I don't know everything about it. I just remember her excitement, and I loved her telling me all about her getting this horse, and like she's using the horse now to breed special race horses, and she's like, this was one of the few things that with everything happening right now and how expensive the world is, this is one of the things that like rich people are still gonna do rich things, and they're gonna want horses. And so she was really excited she got this before everything crashed, because she's still been able to keep like a decent income going, because she ended up losing her job. She worked for the government and got laid off thanks to Doge. So like she was very fortunate she had this horse to fall back on, and it actually is like been keeping her afloat. Like, yeah, her excitement over that got me super excited about it. I have no idea what I'm talking about with the horses, but you bringing it up, like the horse terminology, yeah, it just made me think about her. And she's another one I haven't talked to in a while. I need to call a couple people. I should probably write their names down, so I remember to like reach out and be like, hey, how's it going? Sorry, I'm a bad friend, but I finally thought about you and I miss you. Yeah, Arabians. Yeah, it is. It's kind of like I love it. It's one of the reasons I love the coffee shop I go to here, because it's called Coffee and Comics, and it's a total geek hangout. Everything nerdy that you could think about: cartoons, superhero comic books, anime. They even host like Magic the Gathering, D&D nights, Pokemon tournaments. So like it is a nerdy hangout, and it's a coffee shop. It's my favorite coffee shop, and I love going there because like I'll always come across people who like have these niche interests that know nothing about, but they love talking about it, and I'm just like captivated. I know everything I know about Magic the Gathering because of people just talking about it. I have never once played the game, but I have a basic understanding of how the game works just because I've listened to people talking about it, and it's like I'm just like, wow, that's so cool. And like the main thing I realized is like, oh my gosh, Pokemon plays a lot like Magic the Gathering. They're just different names. What Magic the Gathering uses for energy is land. Pokemon just uses energy. But yeah, she does Arabian. She also she does a lot of horse art too. Actually, I think she would probably be okay with me sharing. If you're interested in horse art, let me look her up really quick so I can share her handle. So if you're like on Instagram or TikTok, you can find her. Because I love her horse art too. No, that's not who I was going for. Um, oh, it really has been a minute since I have talked to her. I have to scroll. If she gets any new followers, like just let her know that I sent you guys, so she knows like I do still care about her and think about her. I haven't completely forgotten about her. Oh my goodness, why am I drawing a blank on Studio Studio 1027? So she does have an internet presence. She does have a gallery. She sells her own horse stuff. So I can show some of it, like yeah, 1027 numbers. So like
She's painting on a purse. She does a lot of like artwork on purses and jewelry. Here's like a little pendant she painted. She loves Arabians. She does a lot of Arabian horse painting. She's getting into sculpting right now. Yeah, Studio 1027. It's the same on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I don't know if she has a YouTube. But like, yeah, if I can show it again. Yeah, Studio 1027. She has an internet presence, so like I don't think she'll mind me sharing her stuff. She'd probably appreciate it, but she's also an artist. I love her horse work. I actually like did a Pokemon painting where I did horse Pokemon, and I was looking at the way that she created horses to kind of like get a better understanding of their anatomy, so that I could utilize it with my Pokemon painting. She is constantly posting pictures of her horses too. She's also a really good photographer. So if you want references for horses, Studio 1027. Yeah, she's definitely got a very different interest from me, but she's also still an artist, and I love her work. I love the way she captures horses. She's just like they've got so much personality. She's also really big into Star Wars. Like I met her because she ran like a geeky meetup group. They would get together like once a month or something like that, and she started it because she was really into Star Wars, and they were doing like skits and stuff in the early YouTube days. And she's like, I want to be able to meet more nerds. Unfortunately, COVID kind of ruined that. Oh, nice. Yeah, you would probably love AZ then. She does use her name online, so like caught myself there. But yeah, AZ Aislinn. You'll probably really like her stuff. She's good people. One of her dreams, if she ever actually is able to take off and make some decent money through breeding, she wants to like build a neighborhood, like almost like a master plan community, but like she wants to just put simple homes on plots and almost turn it into like a collective of just like if you can't she doesn't like seeing homeless people, so she's like if you can't afford to like pay off your rent, she wants to be able to like just put in community work, like let's say a well needs to be dug or a road paved, and like you don't have to worry about rent or anything like that as long as you're just like contributing to the community and you can like use it to get onto your feet. She wants to offer it to like friends and close like people like that, just like so they don't have to worry about rent, they don't have to worry about like anything like that. They have their home, and if they want to be involved with the community they can be, or like if they just want to be a part of the community without like if let's say they're have a normal job and they're fine, it's just like a neighborhood where the neighbors actually care about each other. She doesn't want it to be like a cult or anything like that, because like she's brought this up before and people are like, are you starting a cult? And she's like, no, I don't want it to be a cult. It's just kind of like a collective, but a flexible collective. Like you have the option where you can just purchase your land in the house if you want, or if you can't, there's an option for you to still be able to get to a spot where you can actually own your home by just contributing to whatever the neighborhood needs maintenance with. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I think that's a great dream and idea. She is constantly like looking for land in the surrounding area to see like try to keep pricing, like keep an idea of price, so if she ever has an opportunity she can just jump on it. And then she just has the land available, and like she wants like the first wave, if she ever purchases the land, she wants the first wave of people to just like help build the houses. Like if you help build houses in the neighborhood, you get a house. She'll sign over the deed to your little plot of land, so it's yours. The house is yours, and it's because you helped build the community, and that was like your payment. She has a very big heart, and I really admire that about her. She'd asked me about it. She's like, "Would do you think this is weird? Would you do something like this?" And she was telling me about it, and I was like, "I'd absolutely go on board with that." Currently, like, I don't think I'm ever gonna own a home. I am just gonna be stuck renting. Like the only time Eric and I got close where we thought we might be able to start looking at homes, they all of a sudden jumped from like they were in the 300,000s in our area. Now they're over like 600, 700,000, close to $1 million on some properties. And I'm just looking at this home and I'm like, this home is not worth $1 million. Like they need a lot of work, but they're just sitting there on the market, 700,000, 800,000. And I'm like, I'm not spending that kind of money on a house. I do not want to be stuck in a 30-year mortgage. And in some cases now, like they're trying to offer 50-year mortgages now, and I'm just like, I don't want to be stuck in a mortgage like that. Yeah, I cannot believe how quickly they jumped in price. Like seriously, like 2019, the houses were like 300,000, and then the same houses after COVID hit, and nobody was really selling anything on the market. And then like 2021, 2022, when like people started moving again, all of a sudden like the prices of houses was just like astronomical. Like there was one house we were looking at that's just north of us here in Reno. It was for sale before COVID, and it's a really pretty Victorian style house. And I really liked it. I thought it was a cool house. It's got like a lot of nooks and crannies, and I thought like I could have fun with my artistic vision in that house. And so I was kind of watching it, and it was like 340,000 before COVID. I got really sick and stopped paying attention to it. And then after COVID hit, I looked at the price again, and it was like $890,000, almost $1 million. And I was just like, the thing almost tripled in price. I just could not believe it. And then everything else, like all the other houses I was looking up, are just like in the same boat. They've like tripled in price in just a year and a half, 2 years. Yeah, it was the closest like I thought Eric and I would ever get to be getting into a house. Like we were legitimately looking and planning out and preparing like a deposit, and then the house has just skyrocketed. And I was like, okay, well, guess we're not gonna get a house. Yep.
It's just
super unreal. Like the duplex I'm sitting in, the landlord, she purchased, uh, there's 4 units in 2 duplexes that they face each other, and then there's a central courtyard. She paid just under $1 million for all 3 or all 4 of the units. So like the 2 duplexes that face each other, this little area, she owns them all, and she paid $1 million for all 4 of them at the time. And now when like my neighbors and I, we were talking and we had looked at the price, like the estimated values now like close to $8 million. She got them like back in 2017, 2016. I'm just like, that is absolutely unreal at how expensive these are now. Yeah, I believe that too. I didn't want to get a condo because we have like, I don't know if it still exists now, but at the time, there was a first time homeowners like incentive that help you with the deposit and everything. And it went towards your first time buying a home, whether it was a condo or an actual home. We wanted to save that for an actual home because we didn't want to use it on a condo. But I'm kind of like thinking maybe we should have, because I don't even know if it still exists. Like it just, getting a house has not even been on our radar. Yeah, it was a nice investment for her at the time. Wish I could just spend $1 million and get a couple duplexes. I actually would do something very similar to what AZ would do, which is like, my main goal if I were to ever get a house is get something that, like, I was looking at the Victorian home because it had like what was called the mother-in-law quarters, and it was just basically like a little 2 bedroom house just in the backyard, and it had like a kitchenette. It's not a full-size kitchen, but a kitchenette, 2 bedrooms, a living room, bathrooms. Like, it wasn't a huge house, but it was about the same size as like a 2 bedroom apartment. And it came with the property, and I was looking at that because like my sister is special needs. Like, she's independent, but she still has special needs, and just close to family that could care for her is what she needs. Like, she does have her husband and my niece, but like, I was just looking out for her, and I was looking out that like at that house because I was like, oh, like she could live there, and she would be close to family, but have her independence. And like, if I were to get a duplex, like I'd absolutely offer her the other half. Just be like, all right, you have your own space. You don't have to worry about rent. You don't have to worry about anything like that. It's just, this is yours. Because honestly, I don't think my sister would ever be able to own a house otherwise either. Especially because since she's married, she doesn't even qualify for disability, even though she can't work. She has tried getting jobs at so many places, but they just view her as high risk. So they don't even like give her a second chance. Even though like she is fully capable of doing a whole bunch of stuff. They just see that she's special needs, and so they're like, "Oh, well, you're just not a good fit for the job." Or they try to take advantage of her. She's gotten a couple like jobs where it's just people taking advantage of people with disabilities. But my sister is smart, so she sees it, and like she tries calling it out, and then it makes enemies for her. Like, she was doing one. She was working for one company who hired her as a seamstress because she can sew.
and so she was sewing and making dresses, but the person who was paying her was shorting her by a lot of money, and most of the other people that worked for her just were not calling her out, even though like my sister, she was getting stuff in writing. She's just like, all right, well, if you're promising me this much for the dress, then that's what I'm expecting to get paid. And this other person was just constantly either not paying her for like all the dresses or shorting her for how much she originally told her that she would get. And like, it just wasn't working out because my sister was just like, no, I'm not going to let you take advantage of me. It's like, I may be disabled, but I'm not stupid. That's what you're doing. Like, she was trying to turn it into like, she was just trying to manipulate and steal from people with disabilities, which I think is like absolutely monstrous that you could do that to somebody. Like, the audacity to think that that's an okay thing to do, to steal from special needs people. Yeah. So like, it's just my sister struggles with that, and like, it's unfortunate because I wish society would be a little bit more open to and accepting of people with disabilities and special needs, because they are still human. They can still contribute to society in meaningful ways. Our society is just not built for them or with them in mind at all. I don't want to give away my like sister's medical information, but she has something that would make it so like she becomes a liability out of her control, not to hurt anybody else, but where she could potentially hurt herself. It just kind of makes me mad because I'm just like, if you know somebody has like a certain kind of medical condition, it should be like fairly easy to work with them, especially when like they know they have the medical condition and they're telling you like, hey, I can do this job, this is just what I would need to be successful. And then companies are just like, nope, that's too much work, we don't care that you can contribute something to us, it's just too much work because you're special needs. That kind of stuff got to me a lot when I was working with clients, for clients that have learning disabilities and special needs. Like, that was the biggest thing. It's like there's so many simple ways the world could be more inclusive to them, and so like they would be so much more independent, they wouldn't need as much help, which costs the government so much money to pay for somebody like caregivers to monitor and be with these individuals for large periods of time, when if they would just make the world a little bit more like accessible, you wouldn't even need a care provider. But then I see what's going on and I'm just kind of like, oh, well, you guys are kind of monsters, so that makes sense that you don't care. Absolutely, I completely agree with you, especially like with some of them, like the big one, Elon Musk calling for the reopening of insane asylums and saying more people need to be put in asylums. That's what this country needs, is we need more people in asylums. That like, I wanted to scream when he said that. Because I used to work with people with disabilities who he considers undesirable, that they need to be in insane asylums. And I'm just like, they absolutely have a right to have their own life and be happy. And just this new talk again of just like locking people like this up, just removing them from the streets. Like, I go out and I help the homeless too. So like I've gotten to know homeless individuals over the years, and they're most of them are just been in unfortunate situations. There's one lady, I haven't seen her in a while. I hope she's okay. I truthfully, she was having some really bad medical issues. I don't know if she made it or not, if she's is she still with us or not. I have tried looking for her, and I haven't been able to find her anywhere. And I didn't have her full name, so like I can't even search for her. But she was made homeless because she got cancer. She got a really she had a really large tumor growing inside her abdomen, and it caused her to go homeless because she just couldn't afford all of these treatments that she needed, because she couldn't work without the treatments, but she wasn't making enough at work to pay for the treatments so that she could work. And I only knew her first name, Sherry, and whenever I would see her, I would always buy her a hot meal, and I would just give her what I could to help her. So like I don't know if she sees this, but just in case, because I don't know her last name or where she's at or anything like that. But Sherry, if you recognize me and you're following me, like you can absolutely reach out. She knows I'm an artist. I've showed her my work. I'm pretty sure I've given her my Instagram, so she may still follow me. I just no idea. Just hoping out there. Yep, I absolutely agree with you, Illustrated. The world does. Like, one of the things I would tell my clients, because some of them struggle with people being different or weird, I would just remind them, I'm just like, look, everybody's weird to somebody. You're not going to get away with it. Like, weird is okay. Just remember, everybody's different in this world. And in order for everybody to be different, everybody's going to be different. And what may look weird to you is still beautiful. And I just like try to help them understand, because they do get very like, a lot of my clients used to get so stuck in their ways. Anything that was done out of the norm would just kind of like throw them off, and they would just like hyper fixate on that different thing. And so I was just kind of like, it's okay to be different. We don't need to like make it awkward. We don't need to give it weird attention. It's okay. You're different to some people. I'm different to other people. It's okay to be different. We're all meant to be different. That's why like so much of this rhetoric around like vaccines causing autism. Like, no, vaccines did not cause my autism. My brain is wired differently, and that happened before birth. And it is a normal thing. It's within the animal kingdom. There are wild animals who are autistic because it's a brain wiring thing, or it's a chromosome expression thing. It's okay. These things happen in the wild where there's no vaccines. It isn't vaccines. Oh, well, it's all new stuff. We didn't talk about this kind of stuff when I was growing up, like from older generations, like my grandparents and my grandma, who I don't talk to, but like she was absolutely obsessed with Star Trek to like an autistic level. And I'm just like, no, you're absolutely autistic. You just didn't have a label for it. And so you just think it's something new. And my grandma, I'm like, no, 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 no. I just like things. Okay, well, first off, it's an inherited trait, and I have been diagnosed. My dad, who I also don't talk to anymore, is hyper obsessed with trains. She's hyper obsessed with Star Wars or Star Trek. Like, yeah, the signs are there that it's been in the family. You just don't want to accept it and think it's just something new, when really, like, we have a better understanding of how we are different and how, like, we could better fit into society with understanding these differences. Yes, let the freak flag fly. Exactly. most of the time, like, what they're doing is so they're just living their life. Like, we would take our clients, we would go to the parks, like during the day on like school days, so like there wouldn't really be any kids at the parks because most of them, like, their mentality was at a lower age than what they visually look like. So they wanted to go to the parks and do that kind of stuff, but we would make sure like we would go to the parks when like there wouldn't really be children around, just because like I don't want to. No one wanted to make awkward situations, so we would just kind of go like at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday when school's in session, and most of the time they would just have the entire park to themselves, and they would just be playing. But we would get like other adults coming by and walking by, and they would just like saying stuff and like giving us weird looks, and I'm just like, is it really that big of a deal that they're exercising? This is how they want to exercise. They're playing. They're We have people here to watch them to make sure like nothing happens and they don't get injured. I don't understand why it's such a big deal that like everybody has to act a certain way. Like, what is wrong with adults playing on a jungle gym? If there's no children around, they're not taking any of the equipment away from children. They're just having fun. Like, me and my the other employees, like, we would like get very protective and put up blocks because like just some people could be so mean, and so many of our clients didn't look like they were disabled. They just looked like normal people because they have learning disabilities. So all of that is internal. It's all just the way that their brain is wired and works. And I'd always try and show other people just like the way that they viewed the world is so different and beautiful, and they have something that they can contribute. It's just society won't let them. Yeah, that's all it is. That's why we haven't been deporting people. Everybody's just getting locked up. They're not deporting anybody because they want them to just work. They want free labor. There's a couple states that like reintroduced scarily looking slave laws regarding like agriculture and working, and like those kinds of things make me like really angry, because as long as they're inmates, like there were laws that were passed that could make them work because they're inmates. And so all they did is just changed all the laws to make just new people illegal just so that they could make them work. Like I've been trying my best to pay attention to the stuff that they're passing, so like I can see it for what it is. And they're gonna end up like trying to do the same thing to individuals with disabilities. RFK wants to make wellness farms where instead of locking them up in institutions, insane asylums, people that are neurodivergent can go to these wellness farms and work like real people. That like I was blowing up my elected official over that one. I was just like, this absolutely cannot pass. And they're still just trying to find other ways of getting this kind of stuff to pass. Yeah. I don't understand that either. I'm just like, there's nothing wrong with being autistic. It just means somebody sees the world a little bit different. And that kind of stuff was very vital for us in ancient times. Because that's something else. Like, people are like, well, it wasn't always a thing. It absolutely was a thing. And I said this in a prior stream, like ADHD absolutely, autism and ADHD absolutely has a benefit if we were still just hunter and gatherers, not actually like living in the societies that we live in, but like living in small communal groups where we had to like watch out for predators and hunt and do that kind of stuff, because people who are autistic and ADHD are able to spot something out of the norm quicker than neurotypical people. So like you would see, like, look at a big cat, they blend in into the environment. A lot of people don't necessarily notice big cats right off the bat. Do you know who does typically notice predators right off the bat? ADHD and autistic people. Like, there were so many clients that would just like like I'm neurodivergent, just like in a different way, but like they would notice a snake before anybody else did when we were like going on our hikes or anything, and warn everybody. Like, they were always able, all my clients, just to notice anything out of the norm before anybody else. They could pick up on it and give warning. Like, that is absolutely an advantage, and an evolutionary advantage to why somebody might be born autistic or have ADHD. Pattern recognition is a big thing with neurodivergent people. And it is absolutely beneficial in the way we originally were to have somebody who had that kind of skill with pattern recognition. Also, I am pretty sure the very first people to do any kind of cave painting were probably neurodivergent. Because neurotypical people would not have thought to like, oh, if I take this mud and I grind it into a powder and then mix it with some kind of like animal fat, I can create this substance that I can apply to things and it leaves the color there. And so like I could put my handprint in it and leave it on the wall, and now my handprint's there. And I can also do other things, and like I can draw animals, and I can just, like, people watching the hunt go on and then painting the hunt on the wall. You know, that was somebody who was neurodivergent. That absolutely was not a neurotypical thought. Sorry for going on that little tangent, but like I've in trying to understand myself, I've done research on like what would the benefits be on like an evolutionary advantage to why there would be gay people, why there would be neurodivergent people. Just trying to like understand myself. I figure like if I learn about it and understand why it's important in nature, then I'll understand myself a little bit better, and it did help me accept who I am a lot better. But like, yeah, I put in some work onto this stuff, just like trying to understand it and come to my own opinions for why it mattered. But I always try to like tell somebody who's being down on themselves because they're neurodivergent or they're just not typical. Like, it's okay. You don't need to be. There's reasons for it. We all have our reasons for existing, and it's okay, and it's beautiful. Don't let somebody else try to take that away from you. It's just kind of like one of my favorite things that I saw discovered was a burial mound for what we believe was a trans man or trans woman from like 10,000 years ago. I don't remember how old, but like this ancient burial site, and they found a skeleton who would have basically been a man buried with everything that the women typically were, and in a way that the women were. And there was just like interesting little things about it that made it seem like the most likely outcome was that this was just a trans man. or a trans woman in ancient times, which I thought was like really cool. Like way back then, like this group of people, they had somebody who was born male but lived their life obviously as a woman, and they accepted them for who they were and even buried them as a woman. And not just like in a mean way, it was like in an honorable way. And I thought that was one of like the most beautiful things I have seen archaeologists and paleontologists find. And it wasn't like they weren't the only one either. They have found others like skeletons belonging to somebody who was born female but buried like that of a man. Like even with like hairstyles styled in a similar way to a man, so not just like dressed up as a man, but like living the life as a man. And I thought like those kinds of things I think are super cool when they come up, and we're able to see them and just get like this little glimpse into ancient humans and see like they really weren't that different to how we are today. We've just tried criminalizing and othering these people who've always been here. They've always existed. As long as humans have existed, they have existed. And I do think those kinds of things are like super cool. I'm gonna have to like look more into it now because it's been a while since I've like read up on that. So I'm probably misremembering some details about it. But I think that stuff's super cool. It's kind of like a. I'm gonna need to put some orange right there. It's kind of like the Egyptians. There's some where like we could tell some rulers were like women rulers were women. They lived their lives as women, but then there's some women rulers who like went above and beyond and just presented themselves more as men than women. I think that kind of stuff is like super cool. That becomes like a hyper fixation for me when I stumble across those kinds of articles and stories. I want to know more. Like, how much can we actually learn about this person, and just kind of like thousands of years later, just give them, just honor that they existed for a little bit. I don't know how I ended up all the way over there on this tangent, though. No, because there you go, illustrated. I completely, completely forgot where I was in my conversation. You are not alone.
Yep. It's because my brain, like, the root issue is currently the ultra rich trying to control everything. So, like, I see what the root issue is that's just causing all of these issues to try and cause infighting within people who will never have any kind of money or power. But these are now issues all of a sudden. Neurodivergence, transgender, gay, people have always been different. It's always been a thing. That's why it makes me upset whenever it's like it's all of a sudden an issue. Or try to like, well, these people didn't exist when I was a kid. Well, yeah, because everybody was in the closet. That's why gay people, you didn't know any gay people, even though you probably did know gay people. They just didn't come out around you because you weren't a safe person. Grandpa had said something like that. And like, well, there just weren't as many gay people when I was a kid. No, they absolutely were. You just weren't a safe person, so they didn't tell you. Well, everybody I knew, they got married. It was always a man with a woman. Yeah, lavender marriage is a thing and has been a thing for hundreds of years. And the reason you didn't know is because you weren't a safe person to them. I actually had a couple family members like tried telling me like when my grandpa had passed away, they tried getting me to go to the funeral, and like some of my family members just did not understand. Like, I've already mourned the loss of these family members. I don't need to go to a funeral. How can you have already mourned them? Because the relationship died. No, you just walked away from it. No, the relationship died. People in the family showed me who they really were. They were not a safe person for me, and the relationship died. They're like, well, your grandpa, he loved you. I'm just trying to get other family members to understand your experience with him is not the same experience I had. And he could have sat there and said, oh, he loved me all he wants. His actions his actions said different. And that love was very conditional. And that it was a condition that I could never attain. That, like, there are a lot of people in my family just didn't understand and still don't understand. Like I have already mourned the loss of some of these family members, even though they're still alive. Like, I already mourned the end of the relationship. And it doesn't matter if somebody says that they love me. If their actions say otherwise, I'm going to listen to their actions, not their words.
Like, some of my family members are very hateful people. I'm not gonna name names just in case they're watching me, but like, yeah, I'm talking about you. Like, I've heard some of the horrible things that they said from like my childhood too. Like, one of my family members like celebrating, going. I was 4 years old, and I just remember them celebrating that, like, I had an uncle and an aunt, and the aunt's brother passed away from AIDS, and the uncle was celebrating that the gay one is gone, that he died, and was happy that AIDS took him away. 4 years old. And they're trying to say, like, that, like, oh, you don't remember that kind of stuff. I'm like, really? Then why do I remember this? It's not like you ever talked about him. It's not like you ever brought him up beyond that. The only time in my life I ever remember you guys discussing this aunt had a brother was when you were celebrating that he died because of HIV/AIDS. That it took him away. And you were happy about it. And what do you mean you guys can sit here and say that you love me when you do things like that? Or like my grandma absolutely losing her mind over Tom Hanks. I don't even know what movie it was, to tell you guys the truth. It was in the late 90s. Tom Hanks apparently played a gay man in a movie. I wasn't allowed to see those kinds of movies, so I don't even know what movie it was. I haven't even gone back to look. But she, like, flipped out, like, just absolutely lost her mind that Tom Hanks would ever even consider playing a gay man. Or, like, my grandma going absolutely ballistic on my parents because they watched The Birdcage. Like, that kind of stuff sticks with kids into their adulthood. Philadelphia? Okay. I'll have to look at it, look it up to see, like, why, what the big deal about that movie was. But I just remember, like, my grandma losing her mind over that. Or, I had gotten, for anybody who watches Sailor Moon, I had a friend who had copies of the Sailor Starlight episodes, and this would have been back in 2000, 2001. So they were, they weren't dubbed, they were just subtitled. But I got, like, I really liked Sailor Moon, and so, like, she let me borrow these tapes. I didn't even know what happened with the Sailor Starlights yet. I had no idea. I just had the tapes. My sister really got into the show before I did, and so she was watching them. And my grandma ended up catching an episode where, I don't even know which episode it was, but it was just one of the episodes where one of the Starlights transformed, and my grandma lost it. That my sister was watching a show that a man turned into a woman. A cartoon where a man turned into a woman. And because I let my sister watch the show, I got in so much trouble over that. And I had to really fight to get those tapes back, to give them back to my friend, because they were not my tapes, because my grandma wanted to destroy them. I do remember, like, I know my sister remembers too, because that left a huge impression on her. Like, more so than just watching fictional characters transforming into fighters. See, I like that memory, Rory. That's a good memory.
I try to do stuff like that for my niece. We need to do that again. I took my niece to like, just because I want her to have good memories too, like unique memories that like other family members aren't going to offer her. We, even though she was super young, Eric and I took her to hibachi. We had saved up just so we could take her to hibachi, and she loved it so much. I remember her laughs and her giggles over watching like the chef cook on the flat top and lighting the onion volcano on fire and watching that kind of stuff. And like, that is not something like anybody else in our family would have done for her. I'm not saying they don't do fun things for her, because they do fun things for her. It's just like, it's just different. Something that she would only get with a gay uncle. I don't even know if she remembers it, but like I remember it, and I cherish those memories. I want to do something like that again soon. Yeah. And that was what happened with me. Like, my sexuality was a very big deal, and my family was like, we never made it a big deal. We never talked about it because like we knew that it was going to be something bad. Oh, so you knew I was at 4 years old, 5 years old. You knew I was. So what makes you think it's a freaking choice? Like, that's the other thing that really like blows my mind with it, is like they'll say something where they indicated they knew when I was a child. And that's the way that it should be. It's just like, whenever anybody like, well, how am I going to explain this to my child? I had friends like that, like, well, I have my child, and if you're going to be coming with, and like, I'm not friends with them anymore, but they're like, I just don't want to explain to them like why, like, you're with a man. Why do you need to? You don't need to. You just say like, they're together, they're dating, they're in love with each other, end of story. Yeah, but what if they ask questions? Are you going to answer those questions if they ask them about your straight friend couple? No. Why do you need to answer them about me? It's one of the things like I never understood, and that stuff really got to me too. Just like, if it doesn't, you're making a bigger deal out of it. You just say like, they're together. Kids will accept that. Exactly. I never asked questions when I saw gay people out in the wild when I was a child. What made me ask more questions was like, why they were making me read the story of Sodom and Gomorrah over and over and over, and why, how I didn't even know what sodomy was, but I was being told I can never commit sodomy because I'm going to burn in hell for it. That made me ask questions because I had no idea what was going on with it. But like, that was being hammered into me at the age of 5. Like, so like, who really was the ones trying to groom me? It wasn't the random gay guy I happened to see at the bank with my mom one day. It was my family, like, telling me I was never allowed to commit sodomy, or I'm gonna burn in hell forever at the age of 5. And hammering in like, in one of my paintings, I turned my grandma into a pillar of salt because of that. Like, just always hammering that story into me. Yep. That's just the way kids are. They just accept it.
That's what I'm forgetting. I'm like sitting here looking. I went on my ADHD tangents, and I'm like, I wanted to do something after the flowers, and I can't remember what it is, and I wanted to get it done before I finish the life because it's about that time. But I need to add in where I'm gonna put these buds so that I know. And like I tried explaining these kinds of things to my family, like how it impacted me, and it was just like, you're just a liar. You've always been a liar. You were just always the bad kid. I was the bad kid because you guys made me the bad kid. I was what you guys made me to be. You raised me believing I was always going to go to hell. We never told you were going to go to hell. Yes, you did. You never used those words, but you made sure that I knew gay people burn in hell. That basically telling me that. I was what you made me. Children don't know how to be humans. They mirror the adults in their lives, and they are what the adults in their lives turn them into. If you thought I was a liar, it's because you made me lie to myself. You turned me into a liar. I was not allowed to just be who I was because I would burn in hell. Just so many of my family just never understood that or even wanted to take the time to understand it. It was just like, you were just the bad kid. Okay. I was just the bad kid. Had absolutely nothing to do with the adults in my life. I was just the bad kid. Let's see. I did a little bit of a lighter green. I don't know if it's gonna like make it even really matter. It's gonna matter to me. Like I'm sitting here wondering if I should absolutely like if I should do this or not. If it's gonna make a difference, it's gonna matter to me. I'm gonna notice it. So I need to just do it. Even if nobody else notices that I put a slightly lighter green bud in with the lilies. Yeah, if you were just like some of my friends get it. Like if you just let kids explore and be themselves, they know who they are. And they will know when they're adults and the time comes right who they are. And it just won't be any like there won't be anything wrong about it. There won't be any issues about it. They know. And if kids don't open up to the parents, it's because the parents aren't safe for them. Nice. I actually think like I think I lean more ace myself, like especially over the last few years, like just doing lots of like self-evaluation and reflection. Like I was very active in my 20s, but a lot of it just felt like I had to be, and it was almost me compensating to like, oh, I have to be this, just because all I knew about the gay community growing up was like, oh, they're all sexual deviants, and so that was like all my knowledge on it. That's all I knew, and so I figured like, oh, that's what we have to be. If you're gay, you have to be a sexual deviant. But like in more recent years, I'm just kind of like, no, actually, I think like if I would have just figured myself out on my own, I feel I lean more in the ace direction. Especially having a husband who like accepts me for who I am, and like we work with each other and understand ourselves better. Like we bring that out in each other. Like I definitely feel like I've had more clarity because of him, who lets me just be me. Doesn't want me any other way other than just being me. Like romantically gay, or what's the other word? Romantically gay, um but orientation wise ace. It's not like the right way. I heard it before and it just clicked. It made a lot of sense for me. Aromantic, yep. Well, I am glad that you were able to like, you were in a situation where you were able to just be you without judgment. That it just never felt wrong for you. That is a very beautiful thing, and it always makes my heart happy to see that there are people who have had that opportunity in life to just grow up to be who they are without ever thinking that it's wrong, without understanding like how they're different, that they're just human, they're just who they are. That makes my heart very happy to see. Aromantic, arrow ace when it's both. Okay. Yeah, I definitely feel I would have had a very different uh, young adult life had I just been allowed to be me. A lot of choices I made that I absolutely would not make if I was just allowed to be me, and I only made them because I thought I had to. I thought that's just how things were. If I was going to fit into the group, this is how I needed to be. And I will say there's a lot of issues with that in the gay community itself, too. But somebody said something about the gay community that really clicked with me, that we lost a lot of our leaders in the 70s and 80s. We were forced into hiding for the majority of our lives up until the 1900s, and it was starting to get a little bit more accepted. But then we lost so much more of our history and our knowledge with the leaders at the time being taken by HIV and AIDS, and of course like not very nice people. And so like for a while, and we're still dealing with it, like our community has an identity crisis because we've just lost so much of our history, our our community's history and knowledge that just didn't have an opportunity to get passed down because of those that were taken from us too early. And that, like, because of that, there's a lot of trauma within our community. And so, like, when you go to like LGBT events, it's just a bunch of traumatized people trying to figure out life together. And that there's going to be a lot of boundaries crossed because nobody quite understands their own boundaries. Because we're all trying to figure it out together because it was taken from us. Aromatic. Oh, I read it as aromantic. Did I say aromatic? I meant aromantic. It took my family a while to like. They used to put that on me a lot, like, oh, that I'm the oldest of my siblings, like I'm gonna have kids, and like because I was the bad kid, they're always like, and the kid's gonna be worse than you. Just you wait, the kid's gonna be worse than you. So I started saying, like, when I was a teenager, I'm like, well, then I just won't have my own kids. You're gonna have your own kids. You're gonna have your own kids, and they're gonna be worse than you. I was like, no, if I'm gonna have kids, then I'm gonna adopt. Is what I was telling them when I was like a teenager. And I think that was when things started clicking with family members that I wasn't gonna have a kid. And a lot of it was just because they were, the kid's gonna be worse than you. Just you watch. The kid's gonna be worse than you. Like, okay, yeah, traumatize a child from having children. That's gonna make them want to have kids. It was like one of their favorite things to tell me until I started telling them, well, then I'm just gonna adopt. If the kid's gonna be worse than me and you're telling me how horrible I am, I'm just not gonna have a kid then. I'm just gonna adopt. That was when they kind of like, they backed off of that. And now I just spoil my niece. She's the only child I need in my life. And I have dogs. I keep dogs off the street. And I'm quite content with that. Giving dogs a home. Just living a simple life with my husband now. As simple as I can, anyways, with the state of the world. No, I did get on that side. I've had lots of friends tell me I would make a really good parent, but I think that point, that opportunity in my life is done. Maybe if we are able to ever get a house, I might like foster a child if I can ever get to that point, because I have had some gay friends who foster just so like they can provide a safe, accepting home. And like I've seen those can be work. Like a friend from Vegas, they were fostering a teenager who
really rough family life. And my heart went out to him, even though I was like super young. I was only like 5 years older than him. Uh, I just like felt for him because he was. This would have been like he was 15. I was 20 when I met him, and it just felt really bad because he had a really messed up childhood, and man, he gave my friend some issues. Last I heard, though, he turned out to be quite a much better adult because of the opportunity that my friend gave him. But like, he had stolen their car, crashed their car, took a bunch of stuff and pawned it for like just money. Like, definitely ran my friend through the ringer. But because of the opportunity they had, and the last I heard, but this would have been 11 years ago, the last I heard. And this was when my friend passed away. Kind of saw a little bit of the funeral and ran into him and was just finishing uh, his master's degree. What was he studying in? I don't remember, but he had just finished his master's degree and he was applying for a doctoral program. And it was just kind of like really surreal to see. Like I got to see his actions and like his struggles when he was a teenager, but because of the opportunity and love that he was provided, there he was. He had just finished his master's program and he was applying for a doctoral program. And I thought that was like really cool. Really was able to have a much better life than what he thought he was going to get stuck with. So like I might eventually do something like that if I can like at least have a steady income because my art is not steady right now. It was for a moment, but it's definitely not steady right now. If I could get it steady, I would probably foster. Just do something to give back to a kid who because I know that kind of life. I know how hard it can be when family doesn't love you the way that they should. Yeah. It made me realize just how good of a person my friend was because when I was like 20, 21, like about 6 years we spent together like just as friends, it didn't dawn on me just like how good of a person they were. Like I enjoyed them. I thought they were a good person because they were friends and we would like hang out at the bar together and we were part of the same nonprofit together and like I thought they were just like a good person. But then like after they had passed away and I got to see the kid that they helped raise as a foster parent and the way that his life had turned around because his dad ended up dead in jail. And as a teenager, it was looking like he was going to end up going down that same path. But then, like, years later, to see, like, he had just finished his master's program, applying for a doctorate, and, like, actually doing something because he was given an opportunity by somebody who just loved him and wanted him just to be happy. It, like, really dawned on me. It was just like, oh, wow, they were a much better person than I had initially realized because that took a lot of work to pull a child out of that kind of cycle and actually give them hope because children don't just break out of that cycle. It takes a lot of work. Even doing it for myself, it took a lot of work to break out of that cycle.
just need to make sure I don't got any like weird stems. Because I'll finish the painting and then I'll notice it like right before I need to ship it out. Like I'll have sealed it and then I'll notice like there's just one weird stem. Even though I'd probably be the only one to notice that, even realize it's a stem. They do look more like lilies now, though. I will give them that. But I do think that is where I'm going to end. I just need to add in, for next session, the details on the lilies. So I think I'm going to have the orange lilies center more of a yellow. I was debating on if I wanted the center of the purple lilies to be orange and the center of the orange lilies to be purple, so they kind of like flow together a little bit more, or if I want to do like a pink, light pink in the center of the purple and a light yellow in the center of the orange. I'll have to decide that for next one. I am going to be doing a live again on Tuesday for anybody that's still here. So it's currently Sunday 6:30 at night for me. I will be doing a live on Tuesday. I'm thinking of starting the live around 10 a.m. my time, and then going until about 6 o'clock on Tuesday, because I got a big chunk of a day. I'm not doing anything, and it's my birthday, so I figure I might as well go live. And I will know by Tuesday if I'm going to start a new painting, and if I start a new one, it's going to be my niece's birthday present, because her birthday's coming up, or I'll just keep working on this one. I just haven't decided yet. But I will make an announcement, and I will have it up tomorrow. By tomorrow the latest, I will have a post advertising the live with the time and all that fun stuff. So yeah, just be on the lookout for that. I will definitely post it. I am going to work on my video, getting them edited. I have 3 videos completely filmed, done. 1 in the process of being edited. 2 I need to do the voiceover for, and then 1 I need to like edit and voiceover. So I have videos. I just need to work on them. Just gotta work with my brain, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I kind of do a yin yang thing for the lilies. I'll figure it out, but I'm very happy that I got them done. Like the base coat of them done. It is definitely coming out. Thank you. You all do the same. Enjoy your evening, night, morning, afternoon, whatever time it may be. Just remember, be safe out there. Don't get lost. Don't get stolen. I hope you all have a wonderful time. Bye, Rory. Bye, Vex. Bye, Illustrated. Bye, you beautiful people.